I'm a picture book illustrator, and here are the 3 elements needed to create a beautiful picture book cover. The 3 things you should consider before you make your cover is number 1, composition, number 2, title, and number 3, contrast. The 2 things I like to focus on most when creating my composition for the cover is dynamic poses or expressions and simple shapes. This book, called Meet the Parents, has one of my favorite book covers ever. It does a really good job of being simple yet complex at the same time. Because on one hand, you're drawn to all these details. The shoes are too big, there's a weird hat on the dog, there's a fun pan on his head, but it's also just everything that's complicated is still simple shapes. The pan on his head is a square, the shoes are triangles that are slightly elongated, and you can see simple shapes through everything on the page, so it's really simple colors too, but it's just a lot of things happening, which makes it really fun to look at. This book, When God Made You, is really beautifully illustrated. I love all the colors he uses, and I mean, I could go on and on about the colors and how he draws it, but I want to talk about specifically the composition of the cover. So there's only 2 main focuses on this cover, and that's the girl and the title, which is really what it should be on a cover, just the 2 focuses, so that you don't have to be all over the place. Also, covers need to show you what the inside of the book looks like, so this book does a really good job of keeping the cover simple yet still carrying the style from the whole book on the outside, so you know what you're going to read. The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein is a classic, so understandably the cover is great, but what I love about this cover is how simple it is. You look at it, you know exactly what this book is about. It's about a tree, and it's giving an apple to, whoever's that kid right there. So this book just focuses on what's important. The second element you need to focus on in your picture book cover is the title. And title definitely goes hand in hand with composition. So when you're creating your drawing, you have the drawing and then you have the title. And I think one of the great things that Know David by David Shannon does is the art shows you exactly what the title means. And also when making your title, it needs to be one of the biggest things on the cover. So when I look at your cover, I see the title and then the art. And of course that can vary depending on your book and what age it's focusing on and all those details. And also I think it's really cool when the art kind of leads you to the title. So when you look at the cover, there's like a focus point. So in this one, the girl's looking at the words, so then you look at the words. I wrote and illustrated this book, I Can Face My Fears Through Christ. And when I was making the cover, I knew I wanted there to be 2 focuses. The girl because she's the main character, and the title because it's the title. And I tried my best to make it as big and as bold as I could. The third important element, and I might argue is the most important element, at least in my opinion, is contrast. So for this cover here, which I also wrote and illustrated this book, Brilliant Blue Beasties, I chose 2 colors for the cover, orange and blue, because orange and blue are complementary colors, and then I also wanted it to be light and a dark, so I made the blue dark and the orange light, so we could have that extra contrast, because I wanted you to look at the book and see it as vibrantly as you could, and see that contrast. I think that's one of the reasons that you kind of pick up a book in the first place is because of the bright colors. This is a really cute book, and I do like the art a lot, but I think the cover is missing one of those key elements of contrast. Not that it doesn't have contrast, it does with the almost white blue and the green, but I think it could use some more. Sometimes when you're making your cover, it can also just be good to look through your pages of your book and be like, okay, is there a picture on my book that I could reuse as my cover? So looking through this art in this book, there's one page that I think you can use as the cover, and that's this one right here. It's a really cute picture of her, and I think that it would look more appealing on the front. Instead, we just have her hanging off the tree, and it looks just kind of silly and simple, which is good. Again, it really depends on what you want. Links for my books are in the description, so don't forget to check that out. Send this video to someone who needs help with their book cover. My name is Brilliant Draws. I'm in Brilliant Art. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.